Boom, boom. How's it going? How's it going? I am trusting that you are doing well, and welcome to another show, or should I say another video, where we are going to be talking particularly today about how property investments works. Yes, how property investments works. Many of people don't understand this, but today's video, very short. I'm going to keep it short. Yes, short. So that anyone else can understand how it works. And obviously, if you've never been here before, my name is TJ, and welcome to M5 Property Addicts, where we talk anything and everything around property. And yes, I'm going to shoot and talk about how property investments works. Now, for the fact that we have put in two important words together, I will separate them. And when I do separate them, we'll speak to them in individual. Property, what is property? It's an asset, right? It's an asset. There are many assets out there. An investment, what is an investment? An investment is something that gives you money in your back pocket. So in this case, we are asking the question, how does an asset gives you money works? Does it make sense? The question is how property investments works. I have just now debunked it, and I've said, how does an asset, because property is an asset, so how does an asset, investments gives you money, so how does an asset that gives you money works? Right. So I know that there's been other debates. People say, TJ, what if I buy a property for 1 million and I get rent for 8,000? Is it an asset? And look, I am not paying for the entire amount of money, so I'm only paying 2,000 rand plus maybe my rates and taxes of another 1,000 rand. So I'm out of pocket 3,000. Is it an investment? Well, we have defined the word investment, is it? So that debate is out of the window for today. Now, an investment is something that gives you money. Let's assume you had a wallet. I'm looking for my wallet here. Can't find it. Let's assume you've got a wallet. An investment should not take money out of your wallet. It should be putting money into your pocket. That's what an investment is all about. Whether it is 1, 2, 10, whatever currency you are in, for as long as it is giving you money, it's an investment. Now that we have defined that, let us explain this. Right, where do you find? For the fact that we are asking ourselves to say how property investment works, we should be able to explain that it's an investment, which we have done, and the debate of A or A is gone. Now let's go in to talk about where do you actually find them. I want to speak to back in the days. We all know the stories of gold. In Africa, there's so many people that have come through from overseas and found gold in our markets. And we have seen the gold rush movies that have been written and shown on TV and things like that in movies. And some of them are in the Americans and so on. I want to give the example of gold because gold is an asset. And it's the longest asset available today. And it's still an asset. It gives other people's money. Now let's speak about how do you actually find gold? Yep. So I will make the investment as the property as a symbol of gold. Because you cannot just say, how does property investment works? And you actually don't know how to find it. Because if you can find it, then you can make it an investment. But if you can't find it, how do you make it an investment? You can't, right? So let's talk about it. Where do you find it? We have all seen the great stories of gold. People go out there and they search and search in the rivers. They dig mines and sometimes they don't strike the gold. And sometimes they strike the big gold. But there is a lot of effort in understanding where is the actual gold. There is lots of learnings on where is the right gold. There is yellow gold, there is white gold, right? So again, in the same property that you have, what kind of a property are you looking for? So now you have found it, we can now say, if you're understanding the learning part of it, now you can be able to go out and extract it because you've found it, right? So just like a property, where is this property? Because you might find it in an area where it might not be a good investment. It's not giving you money, so it's not an investment, right? Just like gold, when you find it, you may want to find tools to extract it. That is, in this case here for property, that might be money. So how do you buy it? Okay. So now that you've bought the property itself in line with gold, do we seriously just buy a property and then we just leave it like that? We don't. It's like gold. Do you dig gold and then you just leave it around? You don't. Because if you leave it around, what's going to happen? There's vouchers that are going to come and steal your gold. Unlike gold though, property is one of those things that you can't steal. But I have seen, yes, I have seen many properties being hijacked. So the property is still standing, but you actually get people that come in and hijack the property. You lose control of your property and you can't get these people out. In my view, that's just as good as leaving your gold on the side street and someone comes through and snatch it. Now, let's talk about the same example of gold. If you have your gold, do you just put it in a glass or in a plastic whilst you have it? Or you put it in a rightful purse, or you put it in a vault? What vehicle are you putting your gold to make sure that it's nicely protected? And the same thing goes with property as well, right? So, if you've bought your property, in what vehicle are you buying it? So let's just give an example. If you've got your 1 kg gold and you're walking around with it, and what may happen to you? Someone might just steal it from you, okay? And if you die, that gold is gone, right? We can draw the same analogy onto a property and we can say, hey, you got your property. If you don't look after it, someone's going to hijack it. And if it's in your name, it's your name that's going to be dragged down. Yep, I said that right. So what it basically means is that you now need to look into the right vehicle that you're going to be putting in the properties in, because it's an investment, isn't it? So for that reason, what investments are your property that you're buying, in what vehicle for investments are you putting in? If you don't know, or if you don't have the answer to that, then maybe it's time to consult with the experts, those that know. But if you already know, let me know where you are putting in your investments in the comments below. How do you protect it? Just like gold, do you take insurance on it? Right? How do you protect it from vouchers? Because there's so many vouchers out there. Okay? But then the last thing is, how can you make it work? Remember, we're talking how property investments works. In my view, the property investments, if we're to draw in parallel with the gold version that I've been talking about here, is that whatever that you are doing with the property, it's an asset. Number one, you need to make sure that it's something that is bringing you value. Number two, it's you need to understand how to acquire it, because if you're not able to acquire it, so right. And then you need also to learn and understand how best you manage it. And then also over and above that, when you're now managing it, obviously it's now producing fruits for you. How can that fruit start working for you, right? And over and above that, before you actually acquire it, in what entities are you buying it in? That's very important, because in some of these assets, in some of these entities that you're buying, what if it's an entity that dies? Like you, a lot of you have bought properties in your name. When you die, what happens, right? So you need to think about all of these things before you just go out there and say, I want the property. So I'm hoping that this video has kind of like given you an indication of how property investments works. For me, the bottom line is it needs to give you money. If it's not giving you money, it is not an investment, right? That's the first fundamentals. The second fundamentals is that obviously you need to understand where you're buying that property. And then the third one is that as and when you are buying, is it working for you? If it's not working for you, what do? Maybe dispose, right? Or be comfortable with the fact that it's not working. But why would I keep something that's not working? I don't know. I've seen many people doing that. But on this show, we are always talking about how best you can improve your asset base. And property is what we talk about here because we do many things from student accommodation to managing it, from normal tenants to blocks of flats, managing them, and investments. So maybe not owning your own property, but investing is for you. Then maybe you want to chat with us. But for now, I'll leave it for you. I hope you now understand how property investments works.